Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Plus. If you don't know, then welcome back to another review. So this one's gonna be a little different, as you can see. No face cam, mic sounds a little different, maybe a little confuffled for all those. But basically, we are going to be reviewing Crown Jewel the only way I know how, and that's talking about it. Starting off first with an absolute banger, Bronson Reed defeats Roman Reigns in one hell of a match. I mean, come on. Let's talk about the performance of Bronson Reed real quick. Absolutely stellar work with him in the Vision as of late. The work that Rollins has been doing, not only with Bronson Reed, but Braun Breaker as well, has been pretty nice. So I remember when Bronson Reed first came back, I was watching his indie stuff, seeing him beat Okada, seeing him go to Impact Wrestling and doing everything he did over there. And it was a good run. And then he came back over to the WWE, and I'm thinking that everything's going to be, well, different. It's going to be maybe a little more, there would be a, quote, vision for him. And it took them a little while. But that feud with Seth Rollins really did solidify and lay the groundwork in for this whole Vision stuff. And I'm loving absolutely every second of it. Great match through and through. The Vision ended up getting involved, as we know they always end up doing. And on top of that, aside from the Vision, the Usos get involved. Jimmy and Jay come out there. You can kind of see the writing on the wall with Jay turning slowly on his bloodline, becoming that new tribal chief that we know he can definitely be, but it's just all about that time, of course. The match took a surprising turn as the OG bloodline was getting the leg up on the Vision. We ended up seeing a spear delivered by Jey Uso to Roman Reigns. Now, was it inverted? No, but that accident right there is going to play a very pivotal part, especially since Roman himself let it be known that he wanted absolutely no help and he wanted to go out there and beat Bronson Reed by himself. Then after the matchup, Roman Reigns ended up breaking down and explaining and yelling at the Usos, saying that everybody thinks that I can't get shit done on my own. Everybody thinks that the Vision has a leg over the Roman Reigns. Everybody, well, screw everybody thinks, it's kind of proven fact now. Bronson Reed joins a short list of superstars in the WWE who has pinned Roman Reigns, at least in this new tribal chief era of the Big Dog. Now, the IWC will try to claim that Cody Rhodes and Bronson Reed are the only two men in the last decade to pin Roman Reigns, but listen, Baron Corbin, I see you and I acknowledge you. All right, jokes aside, we're going to move on to the women's crown jewel matchup, which was it was an absolute stinker. I mean, I knew it was going to be a good match, but I ain't gonna lie. Tiffany, she shows up and shows out, don't get me wrong, but lately her work has just been a little weird. It's been a little rough. Great work, though, by both women. Stephanie Valkyria ends up defeating Tiffany Stratton, which I felt like, and a lot of people, I can argue, probably felt like was the writing on the wall when it comes down to a matchup like this. Stephanie Valkyria, ever since, what was it, Bash in Berlin, she has just been in her bag. Was that the match? Was that the EO Stephanie match? I'm pretty sure. But she's just been in her bag, bro. Stephanie Valkyria is one of those superstars where if her English just gets a little better, then I'm not gonna lie, the sky's the limit. I can even see Stephanie Valkyria going into like this mute heel and like Paul Heyman taking over for her. I can kind of see the writing on the wall with Heyman like aligning himself little by little with like superstars that are more prevalent in the WWE, therefore making his name more prevalent. Now, behind the scenes, I said it before and I'll say it again, you get a chance to work with Paul Heyman, that is an absolute blessing. But at the same time, story, kayfabe wise, we can play off of it as Paul Heyman being a little bit of a leech, taking the knowledge that he's learned over the years and now applying it to different superstars, spreading his wisdom in the WWE, creating all types of different Paul Heyman guys and girls. And well, I'm not gonna lie, how amazing would that be? Paul Heyman girl, Stephanie Valkyria, just a mute Spanish devil, the assassin that we know she is, and just that little kick, that's all it needs. But then again, I would argue that Raw's women's division is pretty solid as far as heels and faces, so when it comes down to those two women, I definitely see Stephanie staying a face for a little while longer. By the way, if you're in the Connecticut/New York area, this weather the last couple of days has been absolutely shitty. I just gotta get that out the way real quick. Moving on to the match of the night for me. If you ask me, the match of the weekend. Now, I'm currently still watching Monday Night Raw, so there's still a lot of stuff that I don't know that happened and shit that we're gonna review. Don't get me wrong, it's coming in tomorrow's video. But man, oh man, we gotta talk about it. AJ Styles versus John Cena. What the hell? One hell of a matchup, if you ask me. A match that's hands down going to be talked about for years and years to come. I mean, this retirement tour has definitely had its ups and downs when it comes down to Cena, but at the end of the day, I can definitely see WWE trying to fix it, and that right there, that's all that matters to me. As long as they try, that's all I've ever cared about. I've said it before and I'll say it again. All we expect WWE to do is try, and if WWE's actually putting their full foot down, then hey, I'm all with it. So many dream matches that we could have gotten, so many nostalgic matches that we could have gotten with John Cena, but it was, ultimately wasted, but it's fine. We're still, after this match, after the Styles match, we are now down to 4 dates for John Cena, which is a little worrying, I'm not gonna lie, but fuck, I mean, we're gonna lock in. Let's waste no time and hop into this banger of a matchup though. Cena and AJ Styles went, I'm pretty sure, 27 minutes, which is their longest matchup that they have ever had in WWE history, or in their history at all, as far as, Cena and Styles go. They allowed my boy AJ Styles to come out in the TNA gear. Alright, AJ Styles has said in podcasts in the past that he is a pants guy now, the underwear, they just don't fit like like they used to, but man, was he wrong. Like, holy hell, that was a banger of a matchup. I mean, AJ and Cena tore the house down, but just that entrance alone, seeing the Phenomenal One come out, seeing the old school entrance, seeing the white and blue go through. All bro was missing was that title around his waist, that old school, what was it, NWA title? That's all he was missing, bro, that's it. Or was it that X Division title? I'm not sure which one it was. I mean, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, they talk about it all the time. They talk about how, certain spots in wrestling moves just shouldn't be there, but I'm loving how Cena's hitting a bunch of old different moves from the opponents that he's faced in the past. It's really showing the retirement tour. And then looking back on it, I seen a video on Twitter of the Cena AJ match, and then of every move that they hit on each other, whether if it was for their moves or from somebody else. It also showed a clip of them getting it done to them. So Cena actually broke AJ Styles down into the walls of Jericho. As he did that, I seen a clip of Jericho putting Cena in the walls of Jericho. So it was cool. Everything that Cena did was everything that has gotten done to him at some point in his career, and it kind of comes off as like a little bit of an absorbing, like he took one of every person that he's beaten in the past, his move, and I like that. I'd be wrong if I say I didn't like that. Does it come off corny in some instances? Would I shit on it if it was some other people? Definitely. But seeing Cena at the age that he is, knowing what he's doing outside of WWE, and seeing how busy this man's been, and to go out there and to continue to put the foot down and to put that effort in is absolutely insane. And I just think we gotta just throw Cena a hand and appreciation for that, because that is insane. I made sure to keep this in the notes because it had to be in the notes. John Cena did a sister fucking Abigail. Was I expecting it? Absolutely not. But Cena did the Sister Abigail, and when I tell you that Sister Abigail definitely it did what it needed to. It did what it needed to. That shit had the fireflies absolutely lit up in the arena, and everybody was off their feet. You had the crowd singing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." Like, bro, when I tell you, like, I almost cried. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Like, aside from me being a wrestling fan, aside from me just being a normal human being, I mean, who didn't at least shed a tear or two when they heard about, Wyndham Rotunda? I mean, you guys know the impact that man's had on just like me watching wrestling in a whole. He introduced a completely different style of wrestling to me. When I first got into wrestling, in the 2010s, The Undertaker was still around, but it was mainly for that WrestleMania appearance. At that time, Undertaker wasn't on his full time-ish. We didn't have a lot of those scarier wrestlers, and I remember seeing Bray, seeing the Wyatts on my screen, how genuinely scary it was, and it threw me off completely. And it's looking back on it, it was amazing. It was revolutionary to wrestling, and it just makes me appreciate everything about it. And seeing Cena do that in the matchup, seeing him look up at the WWE universe as they dim the lights and the fireflies set out, I mean, fucking beautiful. People don't truly understand that there is an art in professional wrestling, and Cena and AJ, then they showed it to a T. If I can really argue, if I can say anything over the last couple of months, over the last couple of years that have gone through the oracle of professional wrestling, as far as matches, as far as dream matches, any Omega Ospreay match I've seen, this one right here is the true testament to me of professional wrestling. This is what speaks volumes to me, when you have proper storytelling within the matchup. AJ said it himself on an episode of Raw coming into this whole pay-per-view, coming into this whole match. There doesn't need to be a promo between me and Cena. There doesn't need to be builds up. There doesn't need to be two men getting their hands on each other to hype up the matchup. This matchup writes itself. The history that these two men have had in the WWE, outside of the WWE, anything as far as just them as individuals, it writes itself. John Cena versus AJ Styles was a matchup that when those two men first hit the scene, it was exactly how WWE presented it. Mr. TNA versus Mr. WWE. Two guys that have carried the face of their respective companies, and one guy finally crossing that line, that true forbidden door being open. People like to talk about Cody's forbidden door. People like to talk about Omega's forbidden door. People like to talk about all the superstars that have bounced around each companies and have really kicked those doors down. But nobody talks about the true man, the only man, in my opinion, who started that forbidden door being open, and that is AJ Styles. Out of nowhere, John Cena starts to hear voices in his head. This nigga starts tweaking, chat. A crowd is chanting RKO. And you know what Cena does? He delivers that very RKO to AJ Styles. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And then even when he dropped Styles with the RKO, Styles still managed somehow to kick out. And when Styles kicked out, Cena then went to the corner as the voices were pressing through to his head. This man was another honorable mention. Hey, Mike the Miz, I see you, buddy. Miz, yes, Cena did a skull-crushing finale. I'm pretty sure that's what started the fury of back and forth moves between the two. And then Styles hit a fucking 450 on John Cena. Like, what the fuck, dude? I thought I was watching 2004 AJ Styles all over again. I mean, my God, this man was moving like crazy. I mean, we've seen Styles move good. We've seen him do these things before. Fuck, man, he is not young like he used to be. And with AJ Styles having next year come up and potentially be his final year, man, I'm not ready to see my guys go, man. Cena and now Styles. I mean, what's next? I'm not talking super kick. I'm talking full on tuning up the band, rounding up just like the HBK guy, and going crazy with the kick. Listen, that was personal for AJ Styles. I seen it on Twitter, and I was thinking exactly that when I did see it on Twitter. AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels was a rumored matchup to happen. I'm pretty sure back in the Royal Rumble 2019, Vince was hyping it up. There was a lot of leaks on Twitter about this Royal Rumble being, you know, one of the craziest Royal Rumbles, being the Royal Rumble to watch. And I don't remember how that show went, but I do know we didn't get AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels, which was the thing, if you ask me. John Cena and AJ Styles, I mean, they went out there and they tore the house down. They did exactly what they were signed up to do. I'd be lying if I said I didn't love every second of it. Moving on though, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeated the Kabuki Warriors. Interesting matchup. The storytelling was decent. It could have been better on Kairi Sane and Io Sky's part. I feel like they've been kind of, building up this whole Asuka has been the one to turn Kairi kind of against her family as far as, this whole story goes down. Now, yeah, realistically, it is Io and Asuka that are the main forefronts, but Kairi's kind of like the battered kid in the middle of it, seeing mom and dad argue, and she's just kind of stuck in between, but she's gonna go with Asuka because that's where her loyalty is. I like this storyline. What I don't like is that the moment we get into the matchup, the moment we get to this pay-per-view, Asuka and Kairi come out, Kairi has all type of smiles on her face, and then we get into the matchup, and Asuka is, well, we get into the matchup and Kairi's smiling. I don't get it. Again, great matchup, great storyline. I'm liking the fact that we're keeping Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane, and Asuka in something it's cool because it's a tag team feud, but it's a tag team feud that has nothing to do with tag team championships. It's a tag team feud that doesn't feel like it has to be happening. Usually you find yourself in matches where it's like, all right, these two guys don't need to be feuding, but the tag title's got to get put on the line, or this title's got to get put on the line. But in this feud, there's actual story built off from the entire women's division, just built overall. You have Asuka feeling like, you got Asuka feeling like Io's been picking Rhea over her. You got Asuka also feeling a little disrespected, a little slighted, because at some point, or at one point in history, Asuka was the Empress of Tomorrow. At one point in history, Asuka was the one that had that undefeated streak. She was the one to look out for. And recently, it's kind of felt like, everybody's kind of forgotten about her and just been on the side of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And Asuka, she's fed up. She doesn't care. She knows that with her tutelage and with the knowledge, she is senpai, all right? But motherfuckers be forgetting that shit, and Asuka's not having. Nah, jokes aside, listen, Asuka, man, you're in your bag. I'm loving this feud. I just feel like the story work. And I just want to let this be known as well. This is absolutely no shade, no knock on Kairi, anything like that. But what I am saying is that the storytelling could have been a lot better. Moving on and locking into the main event for the Crown Jewel Men's Championship. Now, this one right here was built up off of history again. This entire event was really good. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. Now, getting into the matchup, this match was perfect. This match was everything that I wanted. This match was the combination of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins in a way that I never thought was possible. I mean, we knew this match was going to hit. We knew what was going to come with this matchup, but I want to argue that a lot of us probably didn't think that the matchup would be. I would argue that people weren't expecting this matchup to be the kind of matchup that it was. Now, I'm going to explain. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, easy banger. We know they were going to do an easily great matchup, but the amount of shit they were pulling out in their arsenal and the story that was told in this matchup, Cody is QB1. Cody had his big build back up moment, getting back to this opportunity of being undisputed champion. Cody went through Cena. He's went through everybody. All the adversity, Cody's done. This one was for Rollins. Crown Jewel fuck Crown Jewel. 2025 is for Seth Rollins. It is a big thank you for Seth Rollins because I remember it was 2023 or 2024. They were talking about it and Rollins got interviewed. He talked about how WWE's never gave him the ball. People will get injured. Roman, Moxley, when they get injured, at least when Ambrose was in the WWE, when guys would get injured, when top guys would get injured, they would lean on Seth Rollins because at the end of the day, Rollins, amongst everybody else, is a workhorse. That man is through and through. He slowed down a little this year and deservingly so, being in that more superstar light, having his appearances be more precious to people's eyes and whatnot. But Rollins was the kind of world champion that was wrestling every single week on Raw. Rollins is the kind of person that was wrestling every single week, whether heel or face. He was in his bag. You don't find a lot of veterans like that do that. Randy Orton wrestles on a consistent basis, but not as consistent as Seth Rollins. That's something to talk about. That Randy Orton steps ahead on his own. That he has been around a lot longer, but it's nice to see a veteran superstar be consistent, to be there every week, to be doing something. You don't have to be wrestling every week. Let's just do anything. And Rollins has been in that work. He's brought up Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and he's brought them in this vision, and it's been absolutely insane. I'm still curious where the whole Lesnar side of things is gonna come in, because that Lesnar and Heyman thing at Wrestlepluss, that could not have been for anything. There has to be a plan. Okay, there's no reason why Heyman would do that one-off little occasion. Rollins doesn't say anything about it, and we're just ignoring it. Unless Heyman just got movement like that, I don't know. But this matchup was amazing. Seth Rollins finally beats Cody Rhodes. It was a war, but it showed that it was personal for Seth. And I feel like that is the key factor in this matchup. Just showing how personal this was for Seth Rollins, showing that desperation that Rollins needed this. This wasn't about oh, if I win, Rollins needed this. Screw the shit that he's been talking on his own. Seth Rollins has been in his bag. And if I look at a superstar that has needed a win more so ever, it's been this guy. Rollins gets the W, but he did kind of cheat to win because he ended up using the Rolex that Cody. I'm pretty sure that Cody got him and Rollins after that Mania 40. Again, great storytelling. Love the aspect of Seth somewhat cheating because he cheated. He hit him with the Rolex, but the watch did go on for long. Cause see, it's always hard when it comes to cheating in wrestling because if I hit you with a chair and you kick out, and the match continues to go for 30-40 minutes. I feel like cheating is more of, I hit you with the chair, I get the pin on you. Only reason why I was able to pin you is because of the chair. Rollins hit Cody with the watch. The match continued to go on for a little while. And then Rollins, and I'm pretty sure Cody even hit a super crossroads from the top rope after the Rolex spot, which I could be wrong on, but I'm gonna stand 10 toes on it. So with that being said, I'd call it a fight. I'd say Rollins tried to cheat to win, and it didn't work out for him, and then he ended up realizing that he has to lock in and do what he has to do. I wouldn't just out and say that Rollins cheated to win. But Kathy Kelly goes into the ring, same way she did with Stephanie Valkyrie, basically just, congratulations, Seth, on becoming the crown jewel. Oh, one thing I did like is that when Triple H was putting the belt around Rollins, he was like, come on, boss man, we've done this a couple of times, right? I love that. I love that little callback. I love that little repeat, in history where Triple H is once again crowning his guy in Seth Rollins. I love it. I love it. It works so well. But yeah, as Kathy Kelly was about to interview Seth Rollins, Rollins grabbed the mic and we ended Crown Jewel with a somewhat of a Seth Rollins pipe bomb, as Rollins let it be known that, I'm gonna let it be known, Rollins let it be known that he is the last real world champ. Nah, let me stop. Rollins basically let it be known that after tonight, he proved exactly what he said he was gonna do. He showed that he is the superstar of a generation, that he is a visionary, he's a revolutionary, and that just isn't a saying anymore. That is the actual undisputed fact of the matter. And honestly, I can't argue with Seth Rollins. Rollins has proved himself time and time again, and him beating Cody, that was the icing on the cake. A lot of people can say, yeah, you've done this, you've done that, but the way they've positioned Cody in WWE, it always puts Cody in that conversation. Not just with Seth, with anybody, it puts him in that conversation. Yeah, you've done this, but did you beat Cody? And usually every single time it's been, well, I don't think this guy can beat Cody. And this guy beat Cody. Rollins did exactly what he said he was gonna do. Again, if I could just review it all real quick, absolutely banger show. I feel like I glazed this show enough, but this show was amazing. I'm trying something new with the whole recording just the microphone. I'm not home at the moment. I don't know if you guys can tell in the quality of the audio, but I'm not home at the moment. So I'm trying to get content done on the road to make sure we just keep that consistent upload going. I haven't really been uploading as much as I want to, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I still work a full-time job outside of this. I recently just got promoted at the Taco Bell that I work at. Yeah, your boy's flipping tacos on a daily chat. And I just got a promotion, so I'm the manager. But yeah, I just got a promotion, so I'm a manager now, and I'm just trying to grind and make a little bit more money, so that way when it is time for me to lock into YouTube and when I slow my hours down financially, I can be set. I love making content. I love doing this. YouTube doesn't pay the bills though, so I have to low-key lock in on some real life stuff. But aside from that, your boy Plus has met somebody. I'm not gonna go too far into details. We don't really talk about too much personal stuff here on the channel. It's more about my wrestling opinions, but that is another reason why I've been a little vacant here on the channel. I've been locking in with Shawty a little bit, trying to just trying to enjoy life a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So things are slowing down. I'm finally getting my head on straight when it comes down to a consistent schedule. Mayhem is basically borderline done. It just needs to be voiced over. And I low-key want to try to get Raw, the next episode of Raw started, and just have it done, so that way I can have everything done and just drop 2 episodes like low-key back to back. But yeah, I love you guys so much. If you guys did enjoy this one, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content on the channel, because more content is hands down definitely coming you guys' way, and I will make sure to see you guys in the next one.